I don't know. I've completely
And
lost.
are you all right? Michelle's having a great time. We are live. Hello.
We are live. Hi.
We're live. Woo! It's like New Year again, all over again.
Well, I put my sparkly top on.
I love it, by the way. Yes, absolutely. Welcome to Books and Beer. My name is Luke, as you know, I hope, and I'm joined by Michelle today. Hello. How are you?
Hello there. Hi, Luke. Hello. Nice to see you.
Oh, this is really exciting. We've sort of exchanged comments, haven't we, on
Yes.
Facebook and various other things and that sort of stuff. But it's nice to actually have a proper conversation, as proper as conversations are in the early part of 2021.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And it's a perfect time because it's going to be my birthday tomorrow.
Is it? Well, happy birthday to you. Wow.
28 again.
28 again. What a good age. What a great age.
a few more decades on.
No, we'll stick with that. So it is called Beer and Books and Beer, and I know you're not a beer drinker anyway, but I'm just going to show mine because it's important that I share. You know, that's part of the broadcast as well. I'm drinking a Banks Amber Bitter. It was 80p in Lidl, which I was like, that's too good a deal not to buy two.
Absolutely.
So there we go.
Bog off.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. I'm just going to jump in the comments and see who's around. If you're joining us, do say hello in the comments. It's lovely to as much as it's lovely to have a conversation with Mish, it's be lovely to talk to some of you lovely ladies and gentlemen as well. Fiona says hello. Michelle, can you see those comments?
Yeah.
Are you appearing on your screen? Oh, fantastic.
Nice to see you.
And she says happy birthday to you, which is always nice to hear. So yeah. So there we go. Thank you so much, Fiona. It's great that you've managed to join us live as well. That's always good. What are you drinking, Michelle?
I'm having a coffee at the moment. I am having a coffee in my goosey mug. Apparently, I look a bit like the one in the middle that looks like it's from Reservoir Dogs.
I think that's a compliment. I'm sure that's a compliment. The goose from Reservoir Dogs.
Sure, get on the bad side of me, and you won't see it as a compliment.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
yeah. So we're here to talk particularly about a book that you've released today as part of a box set, the Dead Silent box set of 18 books, I think it is, isn't it?
18 books. It's incredible. I mean, this is called Dead Silent. And at the moment, it is 99 pence, 99 cents. But it won't be for long. So 24th, I believe it's 24th of January at midnight Pacific Standard Time, it will flip to $9.99.
That's still a deal, mind you.
This is a very good deal. So, go and grab your Dead Silent box set. It's 18 of these fantastic books. If you love crime, if you love murders, if you love assassinations, if you love kidnapping, if you love, things like weird mysteries and suspense and all that kind of stuff, it's just fantastic.
Brilliant. I have a link for that. I'm going to put it on the screen now. I'll also put that in the comments. If you do that, it comes up on my affiliate link, so I get a tiny bit of money as well, and a bit of appreciation and love from Amazon and from the people behind that, which is amazing. Thank you so much. It's all good. Hey, we've got a few more people in the comments saying hello, which is fantastic. Fiona says she is drinking Pepsi Max. That's cool. It's fine. Drink whatever you like.
Absolutely fine. I'm drinking coffee at the moment because if I start with JD, I will get far too blue too soon.
I think though, coffee at 5 o'clock is a bold choice. I generally think after 2 o'clock, caffeinated drinks is a bold thing to go.
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine with it. In fact, I have a brandy and I'll go to sleep, whereas most people
that's good.
Completely on one.
Steve Taylor says, "Evening, hi Steve, how are you? I saw you. He put Dead Silent in his newsletter today, so that's fantastic. Are you cooking sausages again, Stephen? He's been in the comments for the last 2 weeks. I'll explain that. I don't just know what he's eating all the time. He's tuned in for the last 2 weeks and has been frying his sausages whilst texting. So whilst on the comments. So there we go.
Frying sausages on your show or something?
Yeah, it must be one of the things. In fact, he's on the show next week as well, so he's going to have to eat his sausages a bit early.
That'll be so cool, you know. Forget James May, guys. Forget James May. Let's get Steve Taylor on it. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Stephen? Cooking your dinner live on Books and Beer next week.
At least it's not me cooking anything. I burn everything.
I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure you can.
I actually blew up an oven once.
Beans on toast. You manage that, I reckon.
No.
Oh dear.
I'm not domesticated at all.
Steve Moore says, never before was so much owed by so many to so few. I don't know what that's relating to be honest, Steve Moore.
That's like somebody said in the annals of history.
Yeah, I agree with it. I think
Churchill said that, wasn't it? Or something. Oh God, I'm going to be completely and utterly annihilated by all these historians now.
Churchill, we've got Churchill. Anyone? Any disagreeers? Any agreeers? Stephen Taylor says he's never cooking sausages again. Oh, mate. Steve Moore says sausage fest. And Steve Taylor says that it could be dangerous should he do that on the show, which is absolutely true. Thank you for those comments. It's always lovely to see them. Keep doing them. We're going to pop back to them in a minute. Steve Moore says, I am Churchill. All right. That explains a lot.
Oh, I say Churchill. You see, I am right. I do know something. There is some kind of thing going on up here in the grey cells.
in the grey cells. All right, Poirot. So, Mish, tell us about the book that you have got in this Dead Silent Collective then, because there's 18 separate novels, isn't there, that all come together for this particular box set.
Absolutely. It's called Operation Oyster Catcher, and it's set in 2015. And the idea is that obviously it's it's not obvious because not everybody knows who I am, but I write espionage with a little sprinkling of sci-fi in it. Sci-fi, not sci-fi heavy, not sci-fi Star Trek or Star Wars or anything like that. It's kind of sci-fi with a kind of a metaphysical element to it, because the aliens or the interdimensional beings are actually political. So they are cosmic bureaucrats. If you think about what do you call it? The Adjustment Bureau. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I do know that one.
They were like cosmic bureaucrats. So these guys, the Kudamas, they are very, very similar to that. I don't know why I'm talking about this, because actually Operation Oyster Catcher has got no sci-fi in it whatsoever. But why I'm talking about it is because I don't know, actually. I start on the JD. But anyway, so Operation Oyster Catcher, moving swiftly on before people realise actually what a plonker I am.
I don't think you've got away with it, mate. You got that one.
It's 2015. It is actually situated in, that's 2 years prior to The Trusted Universe, which is all 2017.
Got you. So it's like a prequel to that.
Exactly. And it's just like Operation Snowdrop, which is my freebie. Okay, so if you go to Forever,
I'll put the link on the screen.
/ Operation Oyster Catcher.
There we go.
Operation Snowdrop, you'll get a freebie. Just sign up to my lovely, lovely, sexy newsletter called, I can't remember the name of it, but there we go. Menno brain going full pelt today, folks.
Yeah.
I think it's something like Fearless Spies, Amazing Realms, and Ice Cold Villains. That's my newsletter. We have lots of freebie books and things like that, and really cool things. Lots of very, very dodgy videos of me doing very dodgy things. So it's really, really good idea for you to...
Yeah, I'm not sure you're selling this to me now.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. Operation Oyster Catcher is a sci-fi tech thriller. Mm-hmm. It features the MI6 agent, Dr. Sam Noor, and he is up against the antagonist, Dr. Salam Al-Duri. Now, he is all part of the Al-Nadir kind of terrorist collective. Essentially, what happens in Oyster Catchers, don't want to give you any spoilers, but essentially, well, I'm not, but it's all around this kind of new technology that they find out about, they being MI6 find out about, and Sam Noor has to intercept somebody. It doesn't quite work, and cut a long story short, Salam Al-Duri actually gets this technology, and that's really when things really start to happen. And this technology has the potential to do all kinds of things, like take over different 21st century systems, really inveigle into transportation systems, airline, traffic control, all kinds of amazing things like that. And Sam Noor is up against it. And he's also up against it with Dr. Sabina Sanantoni. She is the second in command in Al-Nadir. She's the lover and partner of Salam Al-Duri. And they really, really do give Sam Noor a very, very hard time indeed. It's very fast-paced. The reviews have been from, it starts with a wow, ends with a bang, absolutely blistering on every single chapter, every single page, very, very fast moving, very short chapters. You feel the, literally under the bullet, you feel it pulsing through you, okay? If you like technology and if you like espionage, somebody said it's kind of like Ian Fleming merged with William Gibson.
Oh, that's an interesting comparison, because I read on your website, someone, not this particular book, someone had compared your books to X-Files and Bond, which got me massively intrigued, because I've always, you know, I love Bond particularly, and I was into X-Files many years ago when they used to be on the telly all the time.
That is exactly it. I mean, the whole Trusted Thriller series, which is this trusted universe. So you've got all the MI6 people, you've got CIA, you've got these hideous individuals. They're not hideous to look at. All the villains in my books are gorgeous, you know, GQ, Vogue models. And so are the good guys too. It's kind of like a graphic novel gone mad, actually. It's really Bond to the edge. What did somebody say? 007 on acid with aliens. That was actually one of the earliest. Yeah, that is one of the earliest reviews. I was really annoyed because Tenet came out with 007 on acid, and after reading it, I was going, after looking at it, I was going, huh? Where's the acid bit? Backwards in time. And in fact, I have my husband going on, this is not true, this is not true, this is not true, this can't happen in science. That's what happens when you live with a professor, unfortunately.
So you've sort of touched on it there. You have a background in this sort of thing anyway. This isn't an accident, is it, that you've written these sort of technical thrillers, you know?
Science, engineering and technology. I started in a very lowly, simple way. I actually read finance and law at university. I do have an accountancy background. I did it for a while and I didn't like it. And I picked up an advert and I went in for the job. It was essentially to be a marketing manager of a unit within a university that designed and developed chips, not cuisine chips, silicon chips.
That would have been a twist, wouldn't it?
There is actually something that happened a few years ago when my husband was working with the government, and he was with a delegation, I think it was from Hong Kong, Hong Kong or Vietnam. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's lost in the
somewhere like that
vagaries of time. But anyway, they were from that neck of the woods, basically. And the translator, as he was talking about chips, the translator started translating potato chips. And everybody started laughing from the delegate. and so I turned around, what's going on? Why is everybody laughing? And they said, we think we've got the wrong end of the stick. You weren't designing potato chips. Oh, yes, I was actually designing.
That's the sort of thing you'd put in your book, though, and someone would say, that didn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
You know? I've done a few things like that because my books are quite based on travel experiences and people I've met and conversations I've had, and these silly little things I just remember and put in. And I think we all do that as authors. And one of them, once someone said something like, that wouldn't happen, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, that actually did happen. You know, it was something to do with cheese on toast, trying to explain to someone in a foreign country what cheese on toast was, which is probably one of you've talked about yourself cooking. Maybe that's something you could try if you're trying to get up the culinary ladder. And the instructions went wrong. And I put that in my book. So one of the characters orders cheese on toast and doesn't get what they want. And it turns into a bit of a funny moment.
It's great. I mean, that is exactly what you do as writers. You know, incorporate these wonderful moments in time. Well, I mean, I've got a case in point. I was just explaining to you about how I started off in technology and everything. So I went in and I had the interview, but as I walked in to the interview room, I was looking at the panel and suddenly saw my husband to be.
Oh, you didn't know each other at that time?
No. And I fell in love with him.
I hope you got the job.
This is at an interview. Okay, I was sitting there, and that's why Killing Me Softly is our song, because I didn't know what he was, whether he was married or gay or whatever. I didn't know. But I was literally. That was it. That was me. And I was trying.
Love it.
Beforehand, I had all these amazing ideas in my head, and I ended up being a guppy fish in the end. God knows how, but I got the job. Yes,
as wife or as in the position within the company.
He fell in love with me.
Did that happen? Did he talk about? Well, obviously you've spoken about it since, like, his experience in that interview as well. Was it equally as awkward for him as it was for you at that time? That's fantastic. That is the sort of thing you'd put in a book, and someone would go, "Bollocks, no." And
I have.
No.
It's in the Trusted. It's how Sam met. It's how Ellie met her Sam.
Amazing. Fantastic. Oh, let's just jump over to these comments and see what people are saying. Ken has jumped in. Ken, who was on the show. I'm struggling to call this a show. I feel like that's a bit like self, like. Do you know, like it feels a bit, like I'm bigging myself up too much. Ken, who I was talking to, I'm much more comfortable with that. Last week, said he found himself rambling last week. Michelle, I think it's Luke's fault. Not guilty.
Am I rambling? Oh, sorry. I'll get on point, guys.
I don't think you were. And I have labelled it Books and Beer Off-Topic Author Chat. So there's the writing's on the tin. Do you know what I mean? It's clear that we're going to go off topic.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Oh dear.
That story was broadcast on Capital Radio throughout the whole of London once. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And my husband was driving through London and listening to it and saying, "What the hell is this woman doing?"
So you were on the radio being interviewed about how you met your husband without telling him that you were going to do something.
Valentine's Day, you had to phone up to tell everyone about your favorite song, the song that reflected you as a couple. And I text them. I said, this is it. Are you interested? And within seconds, they rang me. That was it.
Amazing. That is a great story. But yeah, as you say, it's these sorts of things you put in the books that makes them real. So you a lot of your books involve sort of future tech, you know, AI. They're almost a little bit, would you say they're dystopian? Although I suppose they're set in the present rather than the future.
No, actually, it's an alternate universe. Right. So what I've done is I have picked up things like the Afghanistan war and 9/11 and all that kind of stuff. And then you have things like, for example, all the MI6 people have got all these things called smart lens, and it's linked to an AI center, which we will eventually have one day.
Like us as in normal mortal people in the real, like civilians.
Yes. But the whole point about it is that they get all this information coming very, very, very quickly, and they have this cross correlation and all that kind of cool stuff. So that's typical. They have these things like stealth suits, which is, somebody said, oh, it's almost like Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. Yeah, that's true. But J.K. Rowling didn't describe it scientifically. She put it around.
So it makes someone invisible. Hold on a sec. That it actually makes someone invisible. That can't be real. That's got to be
photochromic nanocells. Photochromic.
So it sort of films what's behind and projects it on the front, or in a basic way.
Photochromic is all about changing the variance. I don't want to get too scientific, but everything has got a wavelength. So you've got white light, you've got infrared, you've got ultraviolet. Okay, so the idea is that the photochromic nanocells within the stealth suit that these guys wear, that Sam Nor and Alex wears, will actually reflect the surroundings. So it will displace your vision, okay, your perception vision within a wavelength. Okay, so that will be white light. All right.
Right. So it's not that the person's not there, but you just sort of, your eyes don't pick up on the fact it's there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're blending into whatever is around.
There are other things to do with the actual different frequencies of, for example, fluorescent light has got a different frequency to just ordinary light bulbs. For example, 40-watt light bulb. Okay, and sunlight has got a different frequency again. So these excuse me, these nanocells have to have the whole breadth of all those different spectrums, of all those different wavelengths. And indeed, that's exactly what happens. Okay. However, when one is breached, i.e. when the suit is cut, then the connection falls. And that's when the fun happens.
Yeah. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Like baddies.
That's absolutely amazing. I love it. Must, like, how do you find then when you come up with an idea for a book? I imagine you're like me in that you have a dozen ideas in your head at any one time, and it's really sort of funneling that down to any productive work. That's the issue. But do you find that each one has like a major theme or a major event or a major sort of thing that you're sort of working around or towards?
Well, my books, I mean, I've only really written 7 at the moment.
Only? Quite a number. Must be about 1 million words there.
We're not allowed to swear, are we? Sorry.
You can swear.
They are big books.
Right.
Particularly the sum. It's 525 pages. It's really, really massive. That was the one that I was just finishing and actually getting out just after I had COVID, basically, so and pneumonia. If it's very, very dark, that's the reason for it. Anyway, yeah, how I tend to go is that I will have I'll have an idea in my head about where I want the characters to go. But with the Trusted thriller series, I had a pathway, and I didn't expect it to continue after the Resonance, which was actually book 3. And then I heard this very interesting song, Do You Want the Truth or Something Beautiful, which is Paloma Faith. And I thought to myself, oh, and it just kind of like, there was just a light bulb moment. And I said, well, I can actually do something more with this. So I built in 2 things that happen towards the end of the book. I'm not going to say it.
No, don't spoil them. No. I don't need to read it now. Mrs. told us what happened. Don't bother.
The Trusted, the Dominant, and the Resonance, those 3 are like a trilogy. And then you get into the Refracted and the Sum, and the Sum is really the finale. That is the end of it, basically. So anything new I do is either going to be in the Operations kind of like universe, which is the whole kind of the Trusted. So it's actually seeing the operations of Sam Noor and his MI6 CIA friends, or I'm going to do something completely different, basically. But I will still
too. Yeah,
I will still keep with the overall. I'm losing my voice. This is bad news.
Oh, sorry, we're just too excited to be to be talking.
In a minute. Sorry.
Oh, bless you.
I've got long COVID, so I'm really suffering at the moment, actually. But I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I might need to get a JD in a minute.
Yeah. Well, if you know, feel free. Text, shout. You know, like, give me this, please.
JD. No. So essentially, technology will always be a fundamental thing for me. Okay. Ideas come in terms of the characters, how the characters actually can be developed. I always wanted my characters in the Trusted to be very, very strong people, but to have a broken element to them. Okay. Not always visibly so. You have to read a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, and you find out that they are actually quite broken. And it is quite an unusual thing that by the time you get to the final book, you suddenly realize everything that is explained, and it's incredibly emotional. And it was a point when I was actually writing it, and I was, my God, how the hell am I going to get away with this? Because it's emotional, but it's shocking as hell. It's shocking. I mean, what I put my characters through, because everybody says to me, why do you do this? Why do you do this? It's like you don't like them. I said, yeah, I love them. Actually, talking about characters, can I show you a few things?
Oh, you got the pictures? Oh, definitely.
Pictures.
Before we came on air, Mish said, I asked about the characters, and she said, oh, I've got some pictures of them. And I was like, huh? No, I've got pictures of them. They're like works of fiction. Have you, I didn't understand. And anyway, this is what she showed me.
I can inspire things. I can manifest things,
Yeah, should we do like meet the characters, and you can introduce them one by one?
Okay. Now, who wants to have a bit of a tango with Sabina San Antoni? Hello, darlings.
Oh, look at her. Intense eyes. Wow.
She's psychopath sex predator.
Psychopath sex predator.
Yep. So that's her. This is Salam El Douri. Oh dear.
It's empty.
It's empty. That's
Amazing.
the guy. That's the other
You were great at drawing the eyes, though. They're so
no, they're caricatures. They're caricatures. It's almost like what you'd get in a kind of a graphic novel kind of thing.
Yes.
You know, they're like cartoons in a way. You know, because actually that's how I always see my books. It's kind of like visual, very, very visual. Everybody says that have read them. They're very visceral, very visual. You feel like you've got a movie in your head running.
A good book does that in my mind, though, and I think actually that's because we as writers grew up watching TV as well as reading, you know, and we know what it's like. And I think maybe that's why books have changed now as to how they were before films and television and the visual media, because you are I see it as well. You're absolutely right. The character walks into a room. This is what the room looks like. This is what the character's like. This is the feeling of it. What's happening, you know, straight in, you know.
Absolutely. And it is under the bullet all the time. You know, you're like, vroom, vroom, vroom. Some people, there are some reviews that have said it's just too fast for me. It's just too much, which is fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. This is Sam.
Oh, yes. Let's meet Sam. Oh, great. There we go. I see.
Yeah. And he's got his cig there, hanging there.
So is he a baddie then, I'm assuming?
No, he's a goodie.
He's a goodie. Ah.
He's a goodie. This is Sam Noor, Dr. Sam Noor.
Oh gosh, that's Sam Noor. So he's the main man, the main protagonist.
He is incredible. He's incredible. What he goes through in the Dominant, you don't want to know. Well, you do want to know.
So and we did talk about this earlier. You got who's this one then?
Ellie.
Oh wow.
Ellie Noor, she is amazing. She is absolutely amazing. And we have Kinley. Matthew Kinley. Now he's a good guy and a bad guy because he's a double agent, but he's a double agent on the MI6 side. So he's Matt Kinley, aka Stuart Kingswood, on the Al Nadir side.
Fantastic.
He's Sabina's lover and Salon's lover.
They're great, Mish. I really like them. And I thought when you first showed me them that perhaps you drew them sort of in advance of writing the books as some kind of muse to get you thinking about the characters. But you said you just did them recently.
Yep, very, very recently. Now this is Ebiod. He's one of the interdimensional beings. And he's Kudamaz. He's the leader of Kudamun. And their entire appearance has been, if you like, when they first came to Earth 6,000-7,000 years ago, they inspired the first civilization, which was the Sumerian, that we know of anyway. I know there's been some other ones pop up since, but the Sumerian one is the one that is actually used in the book. And the Sumerians, when they first saw the Kudamaz, they decided to copy them. So all these Sumerians have these kind of like very corrugated, straight beards,
like the sort of classic Egyptian look. Is that what we're thinking? Is that what
like
the ancient Egyptians might have? Yeah. Like a giant chin.
That is actually their beards.
I like it. That's a cool style. I might try and rock that myself.
Yeah. Just what you need.
Give it a go. Yeah.
The whole point about it is that these ancient aliens, that are outside of time. This is the whole point about it. They're interdimensional. They are responsible for keeping an eye on the energies throughout the universe, the dark and light energies, and they have to keep this balance rolling straight, this equilibrium. And if it changes, then all kinds of hell breaks loose. And of course, on Earth, with Al Nadir, and all the facts that they have taken over everything, in terms of all the slums and the rogue states. They just went in and they took all the slums and they made them into Al-Nadir fighting forces. It's just, I mean, it's scary. Somebody read it. Somebody read it and said, "Oh my God, what if somebody actually did this?" I do not want to be architect here, guys.
I love it. But the thing that I massively respect about the genre that you write in is that it's a sell, isn't it? You know, for me, the biggest sell I have in one of my books is a fight scene or something like this. But you're selling to the reader this entire thing, this entire alternate world, which, you know, some people would sit here and go, well, we don't know, it's not true, we don't know, this isn't true, we don't know, that's not true, and that's out the scope of this conversation, I imagine. But, you know, it's got to be a lot of work to sort of layer that in a realistic and do you open the book? Do you open the book with like a bang, this is what it is, or do you start in the sort of real world, in the world as it is, as we know it, and go slowly?
That whole kind of Kudamoon thing doesn't really hit until you get to the dominant. But you can see a flavour the way the Dark Lord Aswada, who looks almost identical to Ebiot, and I will be doing Aswada, how he has kind of like totally manipulated the US president, Jonathan D. Treborn.
Oh, great name.
Into being the kind of terrible person that he ends up as. He has this kind of power to manipulate, persuade and gain trust of others, and he's been doing it ever since he came into contact with the Dark Lord Aswada when he was about 6 or 7 in a ziggurat in Ur in Iraq. So there is ancient history in it.
I love it. I really like that. Yeah.
Because I've travelled a lot, so I've chucked all that stuff in as well. So, for example, in Oyster Catcher, you've got this high-speed chase around the Jumeirah Palm.
Oh, yeah. In Dubai, yeah. One of Stephen I's books are set there, yeah.
I've done a high-speed speedboat chase.
Speedboat around the. That's brilliant. It's a great place.
Nobody was shooting at me at the time. But I've done it.
But you can put in those details, can't you? About looking at the very, they call them fronds, don't they? The leaves. The beachfront villas and whatever. Let's pause for a moment and just jump over and see the comments. Say hello to those who are tuning in. Where did we last get to? Ken says, I'm like Des O'Connor. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult, so I'm going to take it as a compliment. And he says, you, Mish, you said you were rambling.
Oh, Des O'Connor says you're going to have to start singing now, aren't you?
Oh no. Fiona says, it's a great drink down the pub with mates. I'm not sure if she means, and please correct me, Fiona, if she means this is like a drink down the pub with mates, which it absolutely is, and I take that as a massive compliment, or whether she means that the beer that I'm drinking or the JD that you were talking about is like they're not drinking yet. I think it's probably about time. Is like a drink down the pub.
Yes, she said. Yeah. Oh, thanks, darling. Thank you, Steve. Yay.
Oh, Steve says happy birthday. Whee. Martha, my wife to be, says nice drawings.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, Martha.
There she is, and she says they're all dark, intense, and mysterious. Love it. There we go. I'm trying to encourage Martha, Mitch, to come on the. I'm not going to call it a show. To come on the Facebook Live with me, to talk about what it's like being like a
show.
Yeah. She's not agreed yet, but we'll see whether she does.
What does she write?
No. Just to sort of talk about being a partner of a writer and sort of what that involves, you know, because I think your partner's a big part of the creative process as well, aren't they? Sort of understanding, you know, the emotional roller coaster that you're on.
No, I mean, all the tech that I do in it, whether it's oh my god, I've got something called the nano bomb, which I don't know whether I should even be talking about. I mean, people have read it in my book, but I mean, yeah, anyway, I think I'm going to move swiftly on this, otherwise I'm going to get into trouble.
Steve says he'd argue that beard is Assyrian. Is that right? You'd say that rather than Egyptian? Assyrian.
I didn't say it's Egyptian, I said Sumerian.
Sumerian. I said it was an Egyptian, Steve. I think he's correcting me, Mish, rather than you.
Oh, okay. Don't correct me. I'll come over to Seattle.
And then Steve says again, it's a show. It's all okay. It's a show. It's a show. We'll go for it. And then Martha and Fiona say hello to each other, which is lovely. So yeah. Sorry, Mish, I interrupted you to see what.
I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm going into another dimension. Woo!
I love it. No, do so. God, that beer's sprung a leak while I've been listening to you talking about interdimensional travel and invisibility suits. Was incredible.
Yeah. And there's something else that I've written about called NMS, which is neural magnified stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
What's that?
That's amazing.
And how much does it cost?
You wouldn't want to try it. The whole idea is that it is a torture drug.
Ah.
So you give it to somebody who you want to talk, and essentially what it will do, it will take away their reality, what they see, okay? And all they will experience is their greatest fear.
Whoa.
So it works on the hippocampus and the amygdala together. And it's, I worked at all of this out.
Is this fictional? Is this something you've created, or is this something that is in existence, or you suspect it's in existence?
Pass.
Mystery. I like it. But wasn't that one of the origins of LSD or a drug like that? I'm sure I read this, that it was used as a, you know, like a torture thing to try and get people to
initially, but this is totally different because it's all based on a particular gene manipulation. So they have to take the blood test first.
Right.
And they actually manipulate it according to
that person.
Totally bespoke, yeah.
If you could have one of these technologies for your own purpose, whether that would be good or bad, I won't ask, or whatever that purpose might be, which one would you choose from the
Has to be the stealth suit.
Sorry?
Has to be the stealth suit.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Not that. Mind you, summoners is pretty cool. You know,
which is what's summoners?
This is the summoners. Summoners. I think it was the Roman god of dark thunder.
Oh.
So summoners is a harmonic. It's a harmonic weapon that works at a particular resonance that your cell is resonating at, and will explode you.
Gosh. It's bonkers, isn't it? This
you don't know, but you don't know it until it happens, and then you feel like your eyeballs have been sucked out. And...
Do you think, I wonder, with the books that you write, and this is because you've compared them to James Bond already, and I grew up with the Bond films in the 90s, so we had Pierce Brosnan as our Bond, and his films got more and more tech heavy as they went on, to one which was at the end, I can't remember what the title of it was, where they had the laser from space that was like firing down and chasing the car around a glacier, and then they went quiet for a couple of years, and Daniel Craig came on the scene, and they went totally back to basics. There was not even any trackers, there was none of this, it was just good old-fashioned hand-to-hand beating the crap out of people.
That was it.
Do you reckon do you think you will always sort of pursue that future tech, or do you think perhaps you'll go, right, enough of that, let's go right back to the ancient sort of business and do something it's completely different?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I have been reading up and reading some of the 1980s and 1970s kind of like, between the Americans and Russia and all that kind of
Like
stuff.
the Cold War period.
Yeah, like the Cold War stuff.
Espionage, that's fascinating, with sort of the Iron Curtain and East and West Germany and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And all the dead drops and stuff like that. And also the stuff that was happening around World War II as well with the SOE. And I actually had two family friends who were SOE. One is still alive.
What does that mean?
Special Operation Executives.
So it's like a spy.
Yes. But this is during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been to their HQ, and I'm interested in that. I am very interested in that. That could be something that I might do down the line, following a bit in my late mother's footsteps, because she wrote a book called Just a Bunch of Bluebells, and that is available on Amazon. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And 50% of the donations go to the Dementia UK and the Alzheimer's Society. And she died in 2017 now, 2017, of vascular dementia. But she was writing this book up until just about a couple of years, before it really got bad. And nobody was taking much notice of her in the family. They just thought that she was just writing this book. And then we found it after she passed, and I got my editor to sort it out and everything. It's a fantastic book. It's her life with my grandmother and my grandfather, who was a Marine commando. And one of the parts of the story is that my grandmother, she went down to Burzaldon, which is obviously where D-Day kicked off from, and she didn't know anything about it, and the whole place was completely cordoned off and everything else. She had a feeling she was psychic, and she came from a long line of various Romanes and stuff like that. She's a lovely, lovely woman, but she was completely crackers. She talked herself onto a secret base as a 10-year-old child, which is my mother, because she had a feeling she wasn't ever going to see her husband again. She didn't even know what rank he was, because he'd been lying to her all along. And eventually, she got to see him. But it's just fascinating. All these kind of things.
What's the name of the book again? I'm going to look it up quickly.
Just a bunch of bluebells.
Sorry? Just a bunch of bluebells.
Just a bunch of bluebells. Beautiful little thing. And you'll probably see the cover has got a kid in a
red
and a red coat.
Red coat, that's by Maureen J. Bell.
Maureen J. Bell. That is my mum.
Wow.
And in it, I didn't realise so many things that happened. But my mum was knocked over by a grocery truck, and she lost her voice for 2 years as a kid. And she got evacuated with her, well, not exactly evacuated, but she got, because they used to live in Gravesend, which was very, very close to the Thames and all that kind of stuff. And it was getting more and more difficult for them. So they went up, I think they went up to Derbyshire. And all the time she was up there, she didn't have a voice. So she was the dummy from London, where a bomb fell on her, and then she got dum-dum. And that kind of like really nasty bullying of the kids really came through. But there were other things that happened, and I didn't realise, but it really did happen. She was knocked over by the grocery truck, And then a few years later, I think it was about 3 years later, after they came back down again, she was blown up by a bomb, and she got her voice back. She, you know, the blast of the bomb threw her down the road.
Oh gosh! So then she was like,
yeah,
not fine. That's the wrong word. But she was able to talk again after.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mad, isn't it?
I mean, it really.
And we've already talked about truth, fiction being truth being stranger than fiction. That's it. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. I have just added that to my Kindle, so I will. I will have a read of that. Absolutely brilliant.
And as I say, 50% of all the income will go to Alzheimer's Society and Dementia UK. And I do these kind of things directly for those two societies.
Do you publish this then on behalf of your mum? Are you sort of in charge of the publication and of this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. In fact, you're listed as doing the forward. Wow.
Yeah. I'm there.
That.
And, it was launched not last year, but the year before. I think it was the 21st of September, I think I recall rightly. And I did the Great Windsor Walk, the memory walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did that, and I raised, I think it was about £500-600 or something.
So I've just posted that in the comments. Should you watching this be interested? Fantastic book. Not the book we intended to talk about during this conversation, but I think that's absolutely brilliant. And if it makes money for charity as well, that's always something that's.
I'm all about making money for charity.
Yeah.
Having a charity myself, so you know.
Do you have a charity yourself as well? Gosh.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That's the STEM Foundation. That was started in 2004. It was started as a result of essentially needing to sort out the very, very poor professional development that teachers in science, engineering and technology were having. So we put this charity together. We sold our house, we bought a flat, we put money into it, and we developed it. It was called the New Engineering Foundation. It was running on the back of New Labour, that whole kind of like new something. So we were that kind of branding. We did a lot with government, but we didn't get any direct money from government. Hey ho, as a surprise. Only the bad guys get money from it. And anyway, we did it our own sweet way. So we helped something like, I think it's about 250 colleges around the UK. And we have now changed the lives of about 700 kids, 700,000 kids, 700,000 kids.
Yeah.
And we have provided professional development opportunities so that teachers can actually improve their science, engineering and technology to thousands of teachers now. So it means that they can take back into the classroom after going into industry or doing a particular course. They can actually bring that back into the lessons of science, engineering and technology, whether they're doing, anything to do with life sciences, for example, or anything. I mean, there's a huge shortage of data scientists, and if you can get more kids to actually study that subject, then that is really going to be helping the country. I
mean, this is it, isn't it? I mean, I've was a teacher for seven years and know the pressure, a secondary school teacher, and know the pressures that sort of job entails. And in a way, it's one of the reasons that I packed it in, because I wanted to fulfill myself creatively and as English teacher, so writing my books and all that sort of thing. But you can't do them both at the same time. It's such a full-on existence, and that's not necessarily a criticism of it. It just wasn't, I wanted to do the books, and that's fine. But actually, I can see how you mean. If people have the time to do that, they are much better. And in fairness, the school I worked for gave me the opportunity to drop my hours and go part-time, and I did some writing on the side at that, and that did make me a better teacher in the short term that I was there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It needs to be a balance, doesn't it, between teaching, like input and output in terms of teaching.
Absolutely. It is hard. I mean, I'm also a director of the of the Innovation Institute. It's a short word, but it's IKE Institute, which is the Institute of Innovation and Knowledge Exchange. My full title is Operations and Strategic Development Director.
Wow. That's quite exciting.
And that was that's an institute that my husband and I set up back in 2011 at the behest of David Cameron. He said, you know, you've got to set it up basically because we've got to professionalise innovation within the UK, and that's what we've been doing. So we do that through certification, accreditation, through training, through development, supporting all kinds of different sectors. Transportation, defence, security, manufacturing, life sciences, you name it. So anywhere where there is a high degree of innovation required, that's actually where we operate.
Wow. That's mad. And still have time. So you do these two sort of roles and still have time to write a lot of words in the meantime. What is your writing practice then, if you manage this? Because I'm obviously doing something wrong with
okay. I write all the time, and when I was you know, before all this COVID stuff, I used to fly a lot. Okay, my job requires me to travel a lot overseas, and I was always on a plane, always writing. If I wasn't on a plane, I'd be on a train, I'll be in a car,
at the airport, whatever, you know.
Absolutely, you've got it. And I have my notebooks, so I'm always writing in my notebooks wherever I am, and after a while, you just see all these new ideas coming through, and that's it basically. That's how I ended up writing huge.
When did you know you always wanted to write a novel, or was it something that was always pushing on your mind, or did you
I have been writing ever since I was 4.5.
Really? So you're a born writer?
Literally. There is a story to tell here. It's very weird. Some people might not believe it. Some people will believe it.
Based on the stories you've told on this show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am like that. I mean, you know, I'm the person who's been interviewed on Channel 5 because I saw UFOs. I had quite a lot of engagements with UFOs. I've seen ghosts. I've seen all kinds of different things. But this is the best thing. When I was 4.5, I felt a hand around me when I was sleeping, and I woke up and I said, I was 4.5, and I said to my mum, I need to write, Mummy. I need to write. And she said, okay, what do you want to write? So I was half asleep, half awake. I took the pen and I wrote, when I sleep my beautiful sleep, I see and hear things in my dreams of people I no longer see and voices I no longer hear in my sweet, beautiful sleep. I wrote that at 4.5. I haven't told you the punchline. I then said to my mum, my granddad told me that. I've been with him all night. He's been holding my hand, and I can't wait to see him today. At 2 a.m. that morning, my grandfather passed away. Now, they never told me until a bit later, after I woke. And I said, I've been holding Granddaddy's hand, and my mum then had to hug me and say, really, darling, I'm really sorry. Granddaddy is now in heaven. And I was like, no, he can't be. I've been holding him. He's still here. I'm holding him.
Mad. Love it. But yeah, I don't know.
all my life. I mean, I went to a place in Somerset. Was it Somerset? Yeah, somewhere near Somerset. Scared the hell out of me, the place. Really scared the hell out of me, because there was this bright light that kept coming on. And I thought it was a night light. And then I investigated, and it wasn't. It was just this bright light. And then the whole room went very, very, very cold. And it was just really, really, really oppressive. Really oppressive. And I considered that the bright white light must be a guardian angel, and whatever else was in the room, there was a fight. I could feel a fight, and all I did was I just put the pillow over my head and I just went to sleep.
Is that something because is that something you've sort of grown out of or stopped experiencing as you've got older, or is that an experience that stayed with you?
That was just a few years ago. I was going.
That was not when you were a child. That was more recent.
No, I was going to a place. It's to do with military, over in Somerset, and I had a full-on meeting the next morning, and I was like, God, how can I handle this? And I went down to the reception afterwards, as I was checking out, and I said, did you know your room was haunted? And they said, nah, it's not haunted. And then somebody else came in from behind and said, did you stay in whatever room it was? It had a name. I can't remember it now, but it had a name. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, it's haunted.
Crazy.
I was like,
love it.
But yeah, no, I still experience things, and but I have to dial it down. I know if I'm going to be, susceptible to these things. It's a bit weird. So I kind of like.
It's not weird. It's a gift rather than rather than anything else.
It freaks you out. I mean, I try not to have my antennae up too much.
Yeah. That you're sort of focusing on something or whatever it might be. God, that is interesting though, isn't it?
It was difficult to sleep, but I guess I just put my faith, in things.
Absolutely. No, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for talking about it. I can see that Darren is to do a completely linking segue here. Darren's telling us that it's always my fault. I'm not sure what that relates to though, Darren.
What's that?
He says always Luke's fault. Maybe do you mean Mrs. Haunting of a few years ago? Is that my fault? Is that what you mean? I don't. No idea.
Anything you don't do.
Yeah. Steve Moore says, is there anything you don't do? You don't cook. Yeah, we've talked about that.
Don't do gardening.
Darren says Ken's comment about making you waffle.
Nah,
not waffle. Ramble was the word, wasn't it? Not waffle, ramble. But actually, as I talked about, it was always off-topic author chat. That's the name. And Fiona says, I think Fiona's talking about what we discussed. Things happen to me, Mish, but you can't be too out there. Can you with these things? People think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a kind space here, kind four walls.
Everybody knows I'm crazy. That's why you've got the weird, wonderful, and way out world of the Mish.
In fact, we need to plug that, don't we? That's your Facebook page or group or whatever the difference is.
That's my group. It's a private group, so if you want to be in my gang, let me know. Absolutely do that. And that we're here one more time before we sign off, because we've been going for an hour or so. So Dead Silent is the book that was out today. It's
Mish and 16 other fantastic authors. It's on my Kindle.
17 other.
17 other.
18
in total.
18 in total.
So
and it's only 99.
You must be getting a solid. I'm trying to work out how many words is in this box set.
2,273, I think, something like that. She says it's just
2,000 words. No, more than 2,000 words, surely. It says here that it's 2,617 pages.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's how many. That's how many.
In fact, I think I can share this so we can all see it. That's always a bonus, isn't it?
Did I say words? I meant pages.
Yeah, that's okay. Here it is. There we go. There we go. That's the business. That's the business. You can see that I've ordered it as well, which is always good. Yeah. And
wonderful.
Here is the blurb. Let's have a look through it together.
Yep.
Before we sign off, if it's going to open. Yeah. Secrets must be kept or the body count will rise. Are you ready for 18 deadly crime thrillers that will keep you up all night? Shrouded in mystery, these thrillers by 18 Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and international best-selling authors will keep you turning the pages for weeks. It's a limited time collection that will introduce you to your new favorite writers. What made the art thieves kill? Why does the old case haunt the detective? Can the assassins be stopped? From Los Angeles to Scotland to Prague, the twists and turns will leave you in a cold sweat, needing to know what happens next, with page after page of the deadliest crimes you can imagine. This mystery, thriller and suspense box set is perfect for fans of David Baldacci, James Patterson, Chris Collette, Angela Marsden and Lisa Gray. Get it now. And that's exactly what you should do. There we go.
It's amazing. It is amazing. You won't be disappointed, folks. You really won't be. It's first class read. Honestly, there's so many amazing authors in there, and you'll just love it. You just really, really love it. If you're easily shocked, don't read Oyster Catcher. Just
I'm excited for Oyster Catcher and some of your other books as well. I have to admit, I've not dived into your back catalogue yet, but I need to. No, Fiona says, I am too, but I'm still trying to hide it. And Martha says, don't hide who you are, you have a gift. Exactly.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Martha. Lovely. Thank you.
So there's the link on the screen. If you when you choose to buy this, do so sooner rather than later, because it goes up to 10 quid rather than £1 next weekend. Is it the weekend or is it a few days?
It's the 24th. The 24th of January. Yeah, 24th of January. It will go up to £9.99. So you have to buy it.
There you go. There you go. I always feel at this part of the show that I'm trying to avoid sounding like being on a shopping channel. Do you know when they tell you how many different ways you can use a pair of headphones and like show you it, like buy it, just buy it now and all that sort of stuff. I find that a little bit unsettling. So
just buy it now.
Yeah.
Otherwise you have a Mish to deal with.
There we go. Right.
You're back.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mish. You stop where you are for a moment. We'll have a conversation when we go offline. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic as ever to be able to share this with you. I'm really loving doing these books and beer chats, actually. Yeah. So thank you for suggesting them. It was you guys at home that suggested them in the first place. We've got Stephen Taylor, who writes the Danny Pearson thrillers, on next week, and he's going to be cooking sausages, I hope, whilst talking. If he's not cooking sausages, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. And if you're watching this not live, that's obviously fine too, and that's amazing. Thank you. Do feel free still to put something in the comments. I do see them. I do get notified that they're there. And obviously, if you know someone who's interested in the conversation or who's interested in Mish or Mish's books or Dark, Dead Silent, then direct them to the relevant place. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in a week's time.